Alistair Edwards here, and I have a few questions I want to ask you. Have you ever thought about revising your will? Have you ever been treated unfairly? You ever been a victim of identity theft? You ever signed something you ended up regretting to sign later? You ever received a traffic ticket or had an insurance claim denied that you thought should have been covered? Had questions regarding your credit score? Or bought a defective product and wondered what your rights were? All of these things are legal situations, and I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, well, how are they legal situations? Because I thought the same thing. I just thought they were expensive situations. What do I mean by that? When my son got a $200 speeding ticket, it didn't make sense for me to hire an attorney at $300 an hour to go to court for him. But now that I understand that there's a service that can cover those situations, and all I have to do is simply tap an app on my phone or go into my member portal and have contact with my law firm, realizing that access to a law firm is at the palm of my hands whenever I need them. Today, I want to talk to you about our preferred legal plan. And what it simply does is gives you access to top ranked attorneys nationwide, starting off with unlimited telephone consultation. So I'm going to tell you up front, the membership is only $37.95 a month. And that covers you, your spouse, and any dependent children up onto the age of 26. So the entire family is covered. Started off with unlimited telephone consultation. So at any time you have any question about anything during regular business hours, you simply just call in, tell them what your situation is. They're going to give you a case number, and then the proper attorney that has the expertise in that area of law is going to call you back. And they're going to consult with you. Your consultation is totally free. And if that attorney thinks that a letter or a phone call is going to make a difference, they'll write that letter or make the phone call for you. I give you an example. I've been a member now for 22 plus years. I'm driving down to Florida one day. I'm in the left lane. There's a semi to the right. There's a car behind me. No median to the left. My foot is on the gas pedal, and all of a sudden my speedometer drops down to zero. Very scary feeling. Maneuvered over to the side of the road, checked my pants. I was good there, right? And then I had to have the car towed to a local dealer. Called my son. He came and got me. The dealer called me the next day. He said, well, Mr. Edwards, we looked at your car. You got 190,000 miles on this car. It's lived its life. I was like at 190. He's like, yeah. He says, I got two options. I can get you a used engine for about 3 or 4,000. I can get you a brand new engine for about 6 or 7,000. And he says, you're going to have to pay for labor and parts. I said, well, let me think about it. I hung up with the dealer and I immediately grabbed my phone and I tapped my app. I called the law firm. I told them what the situation was. Attorney called me back 45 minutes later. He said, Mr. Edwards, give me the make and the model. Let me do some research. He called me back about an hour later. He said, well, Mr. Edwards, there's a recall on that model. He says, you won't mind if I write their corporate office a letter for you, do you? I said, sure, go right ahead. 7 days later, the same dealer calls me back, says, hey, Mr. Edwards, we got some good news. Our corporate office just called. They're shipping us a brand new engine for your car. I should have it in about 2 or 3 days. It'll take me 3 days to properly install it. Once it's completed, you can come pick the car up, and guess what? Our corporate office is picking up the tab. So one letter from my law firm got me a brand new engine in my car. I didn't have to do anything or come out of pocket, right? That was all included in my 37.95. Let me ask you this. Have you ever signed something you ended up regretting to sign later? Cell phone contract, gym membership, timeshare, marriage certificate? No, I'm just joking. But seriously, anything that you're signing, you definitely want to have an attorney review that document for you. My daughter, she graduated from University of Georgia. When she graduated, her apartment complex didn't want to give her security deposit back. She's going back and forth with them. She finally calls me frustrated. And what did I tell her to do? Tap your app. Call the law firm. She calls the law firm, and the attorney calls her back and said, Mrs. Edwards, how long has it been? She said, it's going on 30 days now. She said, would you be willing to wait 30 more? She said, why? She says, because in the state of Georgia, if they hold it past 60 days with no real proof of damage, they got to pay you double the amount. She said, I'll wait, right? She waited. The law firm wrote a letter. They had to pay her double her security deposit. That's the power of having someone that understands the law and knows the law working on your behalf. If you're closing on a primary residence, you definitely are going to be doing over some loan documents, and you definitely want to have an attorney to look that over. If you are renting or you have a rentor, right? You may be a tenant or you may be the one renting. You are going to need negotiations and documents reviewed and things like that. Well, guess what? That's included in your membership also. They're also going to prepare your will, your living will, and your medical health care directive. Very important documents. The will is basically the last love letter to your family. It's the document that says, God forbid, if anything happens to me, here's what, takes care of my kids. Here's who takes care of my assets. They say 80% of the population don't have a will in place, but there are more important documents. There is living will. a durable power of attorney. These are all important documents. And I never really understood the value of it really until May of 2021. Yeah, May 2021. I went back to the doctor to get the results from a physical. He said, Alistair, look, for someone in your 50s, bro, he says, you're probably one of the healthiest people in my office. That was on a Tuesday. That Saturday, I'm working out, and all of a sudden, I felt something pop in my brain. I blacked out for a minute. I came to and came back, and then I had a massive headache. And like an idiot, I just took some aspirin. It got worse on Sunday. I did Tylenol. Monday, I'm doing Excedrin. Tuesday, I'm on a Zoom like this, and a young lady texts me. She said, Mr. Edwards, with all due respect, you don't look or sound like yourself. You need to go to a doctor. I stopped at an urgent care, coming back from a meeting and went in. They took my vitals. I told the gentleman what happened over the weekend. He said, Mr. Edwards, as he hands me a yellow slip, he says, I need you to go straight to the hospital, like right now, like immediately. I live in Kennesaw, Georgia. I went to Kennestone Hospital, checked in. They immediately got me into a room. They came and got me and they did an MRI. They came back and got me again and they did a CAT scan. And then a third doctor shows up on the third try and he says, Hey, Mr. Edwards, I'm the neurosurgeon on duty. He says, Do you have a will? I say, Yeah. He says, Do you have a living will? I say, Yeah. He says, Do you have a medical healthcare directive? I said, I do. He says, Good. That means we can move swiftly. He says, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to make whatever calls you need to make to family, but I just want you to know my surgical team is coming to prep you. We're getting ready to go into emergency surgery. So they came and got me and they did an angiogram. It's an incision by your belly button, went to my brain. I had two busted blood vessels in my brain, aneurysm basically, right? That surgery would have been postponed or delayed had I not had a will, a living will, and a medical healthcare directive already prepared. Luckily, as a member of Legal Shield, with this exact same membership, I've had them do that for me. And they update it every year at no charge, right? So when we adopted kids, updated the will. When I got some investment property, updated the will. When I got a divorce, I was like, let's update the will, right? But here's the problem. Here's why most people don't have a will done. Because the average attorney's charging anywhere from 800 to up to $3,000 to get that done. With this membership, all you simply have to do is go into your app or into your portal, fill out where it says will questionnaire, fill out all the important questions, hit send. It goes directly to your law firm and they'll have three copies of those documents drafted and back to you in 10 days. And you get to update them annually, right? We also know you pay too much in car insurance. Would you all agree? So any move-in violation, you simply now have points on your license and your insurance is going to go up. Well, now that you're going to be a member of Legal Shield, you simply just take your phone out, take a picture of that ticket, hit send, it goes directly to your law firm, and they're going to schedule an attorney to go to court on your behalf. The main objective is to make sure there's no points on your license. And if they can, they'll work on reducing or eliminating the fine, right? So for a flat fee of 75 bucks, you have an attorney to be able to go to court for you to handle those situations. You're also going to get some trial defense, meaning if you are ever sued, you start off with 60 hours of trial defense for any civil lawsuit. And every year that you have the membership for the first 5 years, they add some additional hours to make sure that you're properly covered. If you ever get audited, you have a tax attorney to sit down with you, consult with you, and even represent you in pretrial negotiations to help you with that tax situation, all included in your membership for $37.95. Once you've been a member for 180 days, they're going to also add uncontested name change, adoption, and divorce, also included in the membership. Immediately, you have 24-hour emergency access, basically protecting your marital rights. What are your marital rights? You have the right to remain what? Silent. Have the right to recall who? An attorney. Can't call mom, can't call dad, can't call your best friends, but you can call your attorney. Had a lady call me once. She said, Mr. Edwards, I got to thank you. You came by our company. You sold us this benefit. She said, my son is 18. He's the first one in our family ever to go off to college. His fourth week at school, he met some guys, decided to go to a party with him, and coming back from the party, the police pulled him over and the police searched the car. She said, my son had no idea the driver had a gun underneath the front seat. Needless to say, when the gun was found, guess what? All four kids are getting arrested. He's crying, can I please call my mom? Of course, the officer tells him no. He says, look, can I please call my attorney? What's the officer now have to do? Let him dial. He dials the number. He's like, look, I don't know who you are. All I know is my mama said if I get in trouble, I need to talk to you. He talks to the attorney. The attorney says, well, let me speak to the officer. After that conversation, the officer comes back to the car. He says, young man, look, when we get to the station, we're going to fingerprint. We're going to do a background check and we're going to check for warrants. And if everything comes back good, you'll be released tonight on what we call a verbal signature bond. He says, well, what about the other two kids? The driver admitted the gun was his. The driver admitted that no one else had any knowledge of the gun being in the car. He says, that's fine and dandy, but I didn't speak to their attorney. Those other two kids that had nothing to do with the gun got arrested Saturday morning at 4 a.m. The judge who was assigned the case decides he doesn't want to hear it until Wednesday. Bond not available until Thursday. They spent 4 days in general population because they didn't have access to an attorney. But the one child whose parents invested in this membership was able to go home free. That's the power of having a legal plan and having access to an attorney when you need them. It's also going to include online notarization. So if there are documents that you need notarized, guess what? You just simply do it through your LegalShield app. It's also going to give you unlimited e-signatures. How many times have you needed to get a document signed, right, between you and another party, but didn't figure out, well, how do I have to drive over to this person's house, or do I have to mail them the documents? No, now you can do it right through your app. Everything that I've gone over already is included in your plan for $37.95 a month. Anything else, meaning any other legal situations, let's say like a bankruptcy, a DUI, a criminal charge, you still have access to a top ranked law firm and you're getting a 25% preferred members discount. So that's the legal plan. And that plan is going to cover you, the member's spouse or domestic partner, never married dependent children under the age of 26 living at home or full-time students, and any dependent children under the age of 18 for whom the member is the legal guardian. Any physically or mentally disabled children, regardless of age, living at home, and 51% financially dependent on their parents is going to be completely covered as long as they live in the residence. So here's what you got to understand. The legal system is not just for bad things or bad people. It's for bad situations, right? So when you have yourself in a legal situation, now you have a legal plan to defend yourself. And you're asking, well, how can you all do that? How is that done? Well, it's real simple. It's a shared company. It's a shared economy process, right? We already cover over 4 million lives throughout the United States and Canada with this membership. It's the collective buying power of millions that makes our access so affordable. Meaning, because so many people are paying this monthly fee when you need the services, guess what? They're readily available for you. We also want you to understand identity theft. Identity theft now is the fastest growing crime in America. They say 1 out of every 3 Americans will be a victim of identity theft. We actually have the number one identity theft protection service with ID Shield. Our family plan is only $34.95 a month, and that covers all 3 credit bureaus for your entire family. An individual plan is only $19.95 a month. And here's the great news. It starts off by giving you a credit score tracker so you can see your credit score in real time on your app. It monitors and alerts you of every situation. So if your credit score changes, if someone's using your social security number, your passport, your email addresses, if someone's using your social media the wrong way, guess what? You're going to be notified immediately. And they also do financial threshold account monitoring, meaning if someone does a payday loan in your name or overextends your credit card information, these are all things that are going to be covered in your ID Shield. It's also going to do a privacy check to make sure that none of your information is housed with any data brokers. You're also going to have access to Trend Micro and a VPN. That's one of the features I like the most. I travel a lot, right? So I may be at a Starbucks doing some work. I may be at a hotel on their public Wi-Fi, but I log into a private virtual private network through my VPN. You too now are going to have that VPN available for you and everyone in your family. And then of course, if you're like me, I can't remember all my passwords for all the apps that I have and all the different things that I use. So guess what? Everything's loaded into my password manager to where that memorizes all of my passwords for me and I don't have to be the one to memorize them. And of course, they do some great reputation management. So it's going to also make sure that they scan your personal social media to make sure that there's things down there that won't come back to bite you. So you'll get a reputation score and they'll alert you if anything changes. And the reason that Forbes ranked them number one is because they have the number one identity theft protection restoration service. Meaning, if you ever become a victim of identity theft, you have a licensed investigator assigned to your case whose sole responsibility will be to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore your identity back to its original form. And it's backed with a $3 million protection policy. Look, the individual plan is only $19.95 per month, and that covers all 3 bureaus, and that covers just you, the member. And then, of course, the family plan, like I said, is $34.95 a month to cover the entire family. I want you to think about this. Your entire family is covered for $34.95. And so just understand the value that we bring. Look, the legal plan, if it was just that you were getting, is $37.95. If you were to add the identity theft as an individual, you're looking at a monthly cost of $57.90 a month to have both legal and identity theft protection. If you want to protect your entire family, the family identity theft plan, of course, is $34.95. So when added to the legal plan for $37.95, your total to protect your entire family is only $72.90 a month. There's some additional supplements that you can get. If you're a gun owner, there's a gun owner supplement. If you have a ride share business, there's a ride share supplement. So you can look at those at the website when you go to sign in and pick what's best for you. And you're thinking, well, Mr. Edwards, Alistair, I really don't want to pay that extra amount. Well, let me tell you what, it's actually costing you more not to get our service. Because with that plan also comes a members perks program to where now you have access to over 400 plus vendors, major discounts on hotels, discounts on travel. You automatically become an Emerald Club member with national enterprise and budget rent a cars, meaning you'll never ever pay full price for a rent a car ever again. $6 tickets at the movie theaters with AMC and Regal theaters. I save anywhere between $60 to $600 a month just using my Legal Shield members perks. So it basically pays for itself. Look, make the smart decision today. Get signed up. Look, there's a link below if you're signing up with me, or you may be, this video may have been sent to you by someone who is a representative from Legal Shield. Guess what? They're also going to send you their personal website link. Sign up with them, right? Since they were the one to properly share this video with you, respect them and go ahead and sign up on their link. But whatever you do, make the smart decision to have peace in mind and the proper protection with a Legal Shield and ID Shield benefit. All right?